Bonjour, I'm Antoine. Today on L'INTERVIEW, Robert Pecha, aka 1031 Rob. Let's go meet him.
Antoine!
Hey!
Enchanté!
Hi, bonjour,
nice to meet
ça
you
va?
in person.
Yeah?
Nice to meet you in person.
Thank you very much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for making the time for me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's dive in. So, let's start by telling us, who you are, what you do, where you're from. Okay. How long you've been in New York?
Sure. So I've been in New York my whole life, pretty much, with the exception of my schooling in the military.
Oh yeah. Where about?
I'm born and raised on Staten Island, so right over there.
All right.
Spent a little bit of time here in the city. I went to Georgetown. I was an Air Force cadet, so I was out in Colorado Springs. And so I had an interesting life growing up. But I've been in New York, particularly Staten Island, most of my life.
Oh wow!
Yep.
Cool. You know what? Maybe we should go around by the ferry. What do you think about that?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Well, let's start by explaining the audience, what you do, okay? Because 1031, I don't think a lot of our audiences knows what it's all about.
And it's part of the method of my madness, Antoine. And my branding is all 1031 Rob.
Yes, I know.
My website, it's all about that. And it's kind of funny because people, they either sort of have an idea of what I do, or they have no idea. For example, some people think I do Halloween promotions, or somebody said, oh, 1031 Rob, like you must be in radio. So I do have a little bit of fun with it, but part of the magic is that it has a stickiness to it. So whether people remember it for the right reason or not, I'm burning those numbers into people's heads all day, and I enjoy it. The reason why I planted roots in this space and why I do what I do, it's very underserved. 1031, it's a tax code.
It's a tax code.
It allows you to exchange real estate and move into something else. It's been around for 100 years now. So it's been around for a while. People love it because you can avoid paying the capital gains tax or defer it.
Okay, so 1031 is useful for people to exchange properties without having to pay any capital gain on the property.
Correct. And we're talking about investment. We're talking about investment properties. So if they've been landlords for a long time and they're looking to get into something else, it's a great opportunity to maybe exit some of those assets and segue into something else. And that's where I step in. I'm not for everybody. I have a modular basket of products that qualifies for the 1031 exchange. So, I'm not a one-size-fits-all, far from it. I'm ex-military, I shoot it straight, I give it like it is. But I do solve a couple of 1031 problems. So at the end of the day, I brand myself as a 1031 exchange quarterback because I help ensure that clients understand the timelines, the rules inherent to 1031 exchanges so that they can execute them successfully. Make sure they have the right advisory committee at their disposal because everybody should be doing their part to maximize the value. And I'm there to do all the hand-holding that's needed, so they can squeeze the maximum benefit out of this thing called a 1031.
So 1031 is really a kind of a tax thing. So do you consider yourself a real estate agent or a financial advisor?
Let's say a little bit of both because I sort of straddle both worlds. I'm licensed with an alternative broker-dealer out of Chicago. So I'm Series 7 and 66 licensed as a financial advisor, but my work is strictly real estate related. I'm not a real estate broker. I sort of straddle both worlds, but at the end of the day, as I brand myself, I always say you're a 1031 exchange quarterback. Meaning I'm going to help you in any way I can. I'm going to leverage my basket of products, but above all, I will be there to answer questions and be a resource to people as they journey through a 1031.
All right, okay, I have a technical question for you. Could a U.S. citizen exchange a foreign property for an American property?
No, it needs to be inside of the United States.
So both properties have to be in the United States.
The property that they're offloading.
Did you get that, guys? Okay. No Bahamas houses.
No Bahama vacation houses.
Okay. So what question do you ask your clients? The first question you ask your client?
Well, the first thing I ask them is, what are they looking to do? I always encourage them communicate your wildest dreams to your advisory board, meaning if you're engaging in a 1031 exchange, you should be talking to a real estate attorney, you should be talking to a CPA, you should be engaging something called a qualified intermediary, which is a necessary party in a 1031. Chances are you're talking to a broker, right? If you're trying to get a good price. So I highly encourage the clients to speak to everybody. You have this advisory board. make it do what it's designed to do. Meaning you want to get the maximum benefit out of your 1031, communicate effectively what you're trying to do, and then let us all go to work and do our piece to make sure you get the maximum benefit out of that 1031 exchange.
Got it. So we usually speak also about success, but what do you say to your client when a deal goes south? What do you say to them?
Well, it could go south for various reasons. I like to tell clients that, look, whether you do business with me or not, just keeping my services in mind, it's going to allow you to navigate that exchange more confidently because you have more options. So I can basically put guardrails in place to make sure that they don't derail as some of these exchanges might in the traditional sense, meaning people procrastinate, they put all their eggs in one basket. I've seen both, and unfortunately they do derail. Usually it just comes down to education, people not understanding the rules of the 1031. Everybody understands, okay, I can keep more money in my pocket instead of giving up a big chunk in tax to Uncle Sam. Everybody gets that.
What a surprise, huh?
Everybody gets that, but then when it comes to the mechanics, it's easy to mess up. So unfortunately, I have gotten a lot of those phone calls where the client tells me they sold their brownstone 2 weeks ago, the money's sitting in my TD bank, I want to do a 1031 exchange. I'm saying, unfortunately, you can't. You just disallowed yourself because you didn't follow the rules. One of the rules is you have to use a qualified intermediary to custody those funds, and then you tell them where to go. So it's all an education.
What has your work taught you about yourself?
What has my work taught me? Well, an interesting thing that I realized as I created this brand and a practice around the 1031 space, and I came up with this 1031 Rob moniker that I use, is that I managed to fuse together an experience I had half a life ago, which was my military background and being a cadet at the United States Air Force Academy with aspirations to be a military aviator. For medical reasons, that went south. And oftentimes I ask myself, with the goals that I had then, how is that congruent with what I do now? They're two polar opposite things. And though that didn't work out for me for medical reasons, it's not all for nothing, because what I realized is I've ported things from that experience and I've brought it into my practice, like discipline, living by an honor code personally and professionally. You can't buy those things. You can buy products and services and degrees online, but you cannot buy that. And I found that that's my straight shooter mentality. That's how I run my practice. So I'm very quality centric when it comes to recommending not only products but also professionals. And everybody appreciates that straight shooter approach. And I attribute that to my military background.
Another technical question. I know that it's really investment properties that you're dealing with. That's what 1031 is mostly for.
Correct.
But let's say, okay, I have a townhouse. I sell it. Can I still exchange it for a 1031 and still live in it?
So great question. We're talking about two different tax treatments. So 1031
tax treatment, okay.
1031 exchanges are for investment properties. So if you rent that townhouse out and you collect rental income off that, that's held for investment purposes. If you live in one unit, that's primary residence. So that would be something called a Section 121, primary residence
121,
exclusion.
Remember this one.
But you can use two tax codes to your benefit. So I see it all the time with brownstones. Somebody lives in the main floor, rents out the others. That's split treatment. You could 1031 the ones that you rent, and the one that you live in would have the marital exclusion, or if you're married, it's $500,000 if capital gains would be shielded. If you're single, $250,000. But it's essentially using two different tax codes to your benefit.
But you can help with that.
I can help with the 1031 part. The primary residence, I don't touch that, but that would be the CPA.
All right, okay, that works.
Again, the advisory board, right? Communicate what you're looking to do, and everybody plays their role. I don't replace anybody at the table because I'm not a real estate broker. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a real estate attorney. I'm not even this thing called a qualified intermediary that I mentioned before, though people frequently think I am. But you need all these people in transactions. So again, that's why I step in as your 1031 exchange quarterback. Make sure everybody's talking. Like everybody's got to do what they need to do.
All right, okay. All right. Ta-da! Magic wand.
Magic wand.
You're now the mayor of New York City.
Okay.
Okay. What would you do for the real estate industry in regards to the 1031 rules?
I would not change a thing. So I get asked this every day. Is that typical of a
mayor, or no? I'm kidding.
Not a very popular.
Kidding, Eric.
So I get asked this at least once a day. There's legislation that's being proposed, changing the 1031, eliminating the 1031. It's not new. It's happened in recent decades many times.
So what would you do?
I would keep it around, and I tell people that's my belief, to keep the 1031 intact. Now keep in mind, it's been around for 100 years. It started in 1921. It creates a ton of jobs and it keeps money in motion. So why would you get rid of that or change that? to free up a little bit of money, it's kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face. And that's the reason that these things don't pass. That's the reason it's withstood the test of time. So I truly believe that, and I have immediacy to people that walk the halls of Congress and feel the same way. I hope it stays like that. I don't want to change my branding or anything, or change my name. So I'm hoping the 1031 is here to stay, but I truly believe that because it does create a lot.
Do you think it needs a tweak? Because it's been 100 years old, I guess the laws, the tax laws need to change at the same time, no?
No, I think it's a very powerful tool, and contrary to the rap that it gets, people will often refer to it as a tax loophole for the rich. It's not the case. A lot of mom and pops that use this to pass down generational wealth. And remember, it's tax deferral. So you can keep rolling, yes, but the vast majority of these do actually pay tax down the line. So you're just deferring the tax.
So, Rob, if you had to describe New Yorkers in one word, what would it be?
Well, let's see. You knocked down our towers, you threw us in a pandemic, I'd have to say resilient. Resilient, definitely. We always find a way to come back and just soldier on.
Yes, resilient we are. Remember that, guys. You know, I said that to you before, but what New York City has taught about yourself? What has this city brought to you?
City's brought to me opportunities to grow, both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
Because you have to. Being a New Yorker, you kind of grow up, you have to have thicker skin. The military taught me that it's not personal, particularly the training. You go through basic training. It's not personal, you're getting yelled at, it's not pleasant, but it's not personal. That I think translated again into being an entrepreneur, being a businessman. And not all the responses I get from would-be clients are personal. They're shopping, they're making a decision, and as I said, I'm not for everybody. But I am there to help as many people as I can.
Yeah. Okay, Rob, my last question.
Let's do it.
It's a little crazy, but if you were a tool or an object to help you perform your job better, what would you be?
Let's go with the tool. I'd have to say a circular saw. Just cut through the noise. The noise, because there's so much noise out there in social media. Like I said, this misconceptions around the space. Just cut through the noise, cut through the chase, get to the result, have the happy client.
A circular saw it is. That's it, folks. That was Rob Pecha, aka 1031 Rob. So remember, if you need to offload the property, contact him. He's gonna do wonders. Okay? So guys, thank you very much for watching. You know the drill. Subscribe, share, like, comment. We need you all. But in the meantime,
merci mon ami. À la prochaine.
It's
selfie time.
Boom. Let me see. Hey, you look good, man.
You too.
Oh, thank you.
We should do some posters or something.